Takegawa Tancho Showa, 5 years old, 84 centimeters. Maybe this year we'll get up to 88, possibly 90 cm. So I had to have a meeting, lunchtime meeting. So I got a buddy of mine graciously flew me over there. Sounds posh. Yeah, so we took his small little plane, flew over to where my meeting was, and we had lunch there. But it was just fascinating to see things from the sky, especially at this kind of a flight. Flying out of Leicester Airport. Believe it or not, there's an airport in Leicester. Making our way across to the Fenlands. Now, on our way back, we had went over the quarry in Leicester, which is incredible to see. The quarry is just amazing. You can see the cars are going around it, and the depth of it is just unbelievable. It's still being used, and trucks go down there. Somebody's asked on my Instagram if I'm digging a pond. You'd need some kind of a net to catch them fish if you release them in there. But yeah, it was fascinating to see this nonetheless. Great opportunity to do this, and what a privilege it is to fly over the amazing UK countryside. I just love it. I love the UK. I love everything about it. This is on the way back from our lunchtime meeting. For those of you who fly fish, this is my local fly fishing reservoir. It's called Fountain Reservoir. It's probably less than 5 miles from my house, so we flew over it. I think with all the hot weather we had in the UK, it's given us a little bit of an algae bloom, so the water is slightly green. You can see one boat there in the center. You can see the lodge up to the left side. Great fly fishery. And yeah, so these are some of the fish that are in the pond. Just cleaned the windows. So these are the kajakus that they're growing like mad. I think they're close to 50 cm. So by the time I finish feeding in my normal feeding regime this year, which would probably be December, maybe into January, I expect to have them up to 53 to 55 cm as well. And they seem to be doing all right. Koi just having a extra graze. I just threw a handful in. Been super sunny this weekend here coming up into the UK. It's hitting 30 Celsius, 31, 32, which is 88, 90 for the Americans, around 88, 87. Been feeding my growth on color food. Some people think it's not needed to feed color food if the fish is of quality, but that's not really true. When you talk to the breeders in Japan, they tend to see color food as propping up the benny, almost like keeping it stable, helping it coming up to the winter months. So I just follow what they do, and over my own practice in a koi pond, I've noticed that feeding the color food early enough with the growth and the other feed does help the benny in many ways, where it just needs that little bit of propping up, especially those who are covered in ceiling. I'm fortunate in many ways because although I'm covered, I get a lot of sunlight in the pond, as you can see coming over in that direction and this direction, south facing garden. The sunlight sneaks in directly, although at an angle, into the pond. So I don't really get benny issues per se, but this polycarb has been changed last year, so these are all new. But it's always good to refresh the polycarbonate. I tend to do it every 4 years because of UV damage and so forth. It doesn't let the UV light in, which could affect the benny of the koi. But you could probably see from the camera that the bennies look all great, and this is not jazzed up with color enhancer on the camera themselves. This is just the fish, as you see, the natural color. So it's good that although you're feeding protein food, to also just get the color food in alongside of it. I'm going 50-50, then I'll taper that off to pure growth food as I come in to the season. These are going to be fed all the way to Christmas, probably January at 24 Celsius. Of course, by then the covers will be back on the pond on the sides, and I will then use my UFO lights. These lights are LED lights that are grow lights as well, so they do help. They're not perfect. Nothing could beat natural sunlight, trust me. No matter how much you pay, there's no substitute for natural sunlight. So I'm not an advocate for growing koi in the dark. I've got a quarantine in the garage, as most of you know, and it's literally just a quarantine. I'll keep single color fish in there over the summer just to prop up the bio, but really, if you're going to grow koi, why grow them in the dark? Get them outside, and that's what I tend to do. So these are being fed now since the last video that you saw last week, I believe, which pushed everything back. So they've now been increasing the amount of food. I've increased it by another 100 grams from last week to now, and I'll slowly increase. It's good to slowly increase the food. Don't just suddenly increase it week after week. Just let it be a slow increments coming in, and keep your eye on the bodies of the fish. Check where they're at. There's always going to be one or two fish that's probably a bit bigger than the rest body wise, and vice versa. You almost get one or two that's slightly slimmer. That's just how it is. So hopefully we could push ourselves into October without the covers going on, so then it just leaves November and December and January with covers on. I'll be in Japan in November with a harvest, and I'll overlay some footage of me at the harvest last year with Yume Koi Mud Pond Challenge. Also hoping to visit a few breeders down south mainly. I'm not there to buy a lot of fish. I still got quite a lot of fish in Japan. I'm there to see them, make some decisions on what to bring home, what to leave, and then also maybe purchase that one special koi. I don't know, time will tell. I got to see while I'm there what I'm like and what I'm liking in that way. But yeah, fish are doing well. It's currently 31 Celsius here in Leicester, believe it or not. So the pond temperature is up to 24.1, and the fish are doing well. Water clarity is, as you can see, that's right the way down to the bottom there, and as you can see, the water clarity is pretty good. A few kajakus there, and they're looking good. Pond just went through a potassium permanganate treatment, very strong, and then also at the back of that I hit them also with a half a dose of flubanol just to catch anything, if there is anything in that way. But the pond's reset with potassium permanganate. It's a good way to reset the pond, take the bioloading off, get the fish a day of rest for their stomachs from feeding heavily, and then slowly get them back built quickly. When my pond now at Baki House Media, there's no issues whatsoever with going straight back into the heavy feed. I don't really see an issue with parameters. I just blow through it. Whatever they're reading, I just keep feeding until the filters catch up. That's how the way I've always done it, in that way. So this is one of my favorite views, which is from the balcony of our bedroom. You could just open the double doors in the balcony and you could see them feeding there from the top floor. Just a great sight to see, and it's nice to just observe them from a distance feeding without them knowing I'm there. It helps add a little bit of dynamics to see them feeding naturally. I can also observe if there's any fish looking like there's a potential issue, or could it be something that's untoward. But yeah, it's a great place. And when I designed this pond, if you look back on my videos, how I built my pond, it's still pictures. You can see that I was conscious in making the window and the pond, that at any part of the property you could see the pond, but not from the road. So that was designed intentionally that way. So my son, we were headed to the gym. We got to keep up on our training. And yeah, this is my daughter's spoiled rabbit, Coco. She's part of the family pet that is much loved. She's very good at koi as well. I'm sure she could pick a good koi. There you go, Coco. Enjoy your head scratch. So the feeders went off while I was messing around with a rabbit, and come back and they were just slowly grazing, not crashing into the food, which is kind of what you want. They tend to finish their food within 8 minutes of the feeder going off, and to me that's just around the sweet spot. So looking at their bodies, one of the things that I do is I check the bodies overall of the koi to see whether to up the food, and I slowly increase the increments. It's not a rapid thing whatsoever. It's over the years I've learned with koi, slow is good. And yeah, it's good to see them feeding and enjoying the expensive Saki Hikari, which reminds me, I've already bought 6 bags, but I've got 2 left. You'll see this a little bit later on, so need to get some more. Well, you could tell autumn is in the air, fall for the Americans. Leaves are turning, and this is one fish that I'm looking forward to seeing in Japan. It's at Yume Koi, Japan, and I was sent this video of her, and I'll see her in November when I make my way across the seas to the land of the rising sun. Oh, 4 days later, feeder is stopping up just for the weekend. It's Friday today, you can see it's pretty low, so I'll go mix up some high growth, more color, get it in. Right, so I just done a mix. Need to get some more food. Well, saying that, I ordered 6 bags of food. There is what's that, growth, color. I ordered 6 bags of food. I've done a mix up in here, mix it in the food, and if you come over with me here on the pallets, you'd see out of the 6 bags I've got 2 left. So there's a growth there, and then there is a Rasta R. So there's a drum, and to look after that next month when I get time. New drum going in. Yeah, so I'm gonna order 2 more bags of growth because I'm feeding quite a lot. Now, for those of you who already watch this channel know this is the quarantine system with my Happy 2025. Works very good. The patented seal is next level. You gotta have this seal if you want a drum like this. The seal makes the difference. The quality is just superb. It's not made to throw away, it's made to last. And then there's 200 liters of Helix in there, and then the Red X, which is their version of Japanese matting. And in here, there's a bit of food left. There's a few fish for sale, some tossai that I just kept in there just to keep the bio alive in the pond, in the tank. Can't really call this a pond, it's more of a tank. So the QT. So there's some fish in here, all single color fish, some Matsuba and a Akamatsuba, I think, as well, and yeah, Karashi. So there's a couple females, I think 4 males or 4 males and 3 females. So yeah, these would be up for sale. They wouldn't be expensive, probably £100 each or so, or I don't know. I'm not in a hurry, but yeah, if you're interested, drop me a line and you could come have a look at them. Yeah, so I'm gonna go fill up that feeder now, and then that should take all that food out, put the rest of these in there, and yeah, away we go. So then you see my heat coils already put the attachments on the ends to go in, So which means I could drop a elbow. I've got some elbows here. Drop an elbow in there, get some nice brand new heat coils to go in there, and yeah, all the vanity is my name, I guess. There's all the trophies. They're in the garage. Missus don't like them in the house, treatments and stuff like that. So yeah, so we've done our mix, came from the garage, and going to top up this. We'll take most of the food. I think that's probably, I don't know, probably a kilo left, if that. So most of this would take in there. And yeah, ready for another 5 days. I think I'm a kilo, or maybe less actually, because it's a kilo, 1.4 kilos a day. Well, you ever had koi fight back? This is Winter a couple of years ago. Look at the organ. She's going down. She sees me there. She does a flick and a whoa right in the face. Anyhow, do like and subscribe and share. Peace out.